my name is Mary Gaylord, and I'm the Executive Director for Home Ahead Furniture Bank. We operate here in Boulder County, and I've been here about 3.5 years. And when I first got into this, I had no idea what I was doing, but it sounded really interesting to me because it was a nonprofit organization that was solving two problems at once. The problem of people who have too much stuff that need to get rid of it and don't know where to take it, and the problem of people who are in need. Boulder County attracts a lot of folks who are in need of some extra support, and so we've got these two communities side by side, people of great wealth and then people of great need. And so being the broker in the middle and bringing those two together so that we move the stuff out of the homes of people who don't need or want it anymore and into the homes of people who do. And the third bonus, of course, is we keep it out of the landfill, which is a huge benefit, especially in a town that cares a lot about conservation. We hear a lot about homelessness and people experiencing homelessness and needing a place to live. But what we forget about is a home's not a home if it's just 4 empty walls and some bare floors. And a lot of the folks we're working with have only the contents of their backpack. And so they get a place to live, which is cause for celebration, but then they don't have a bed to sleep in. They don't have any dishes, any way to prepare meals. They don't have a table to sit at. And if it's a family, having a table is huge. Having a table where you can share meals, having a table where maybe you can do a puzzle, having a table where your school-aged children have a place to do their homework. And I remember that was one such referral that we had. It was a family, and they had 3 children and 2 parents, and they had a card table. And this was what they were trying to use for the 5 of them to crowd around and have a meal. And this is what they were trying to use for the kids to do homework. And we were happy to give them a large table. They wanted the biggest table that we could give them. Okay. The other thing I've really learned is before coming into this work, I didn't have any experience really working with people who had experienced homelessness. And I didn't know who those people were and what their circumstances were, and they're really as varied as every individual that walks the planet. There was a person who survived a house fire but lost their 3 family members in that. There was a woman, very well put together, looked like somebody's cherished grandmother, who'd recently became widowed and was suffering from dementia and didn't have a safety net, didn't have somebody taking care of her. And I don't know why, but she took to wandering the streets. We had a person referred to us who had a family member who was killed in the King Soopers shooting. And if I think of that, if I had a family member suffer that sort of tragedy, how do you make sense of the next day? How do you get up and put your shoes on and go to work? How do you pay your bills? You know, for some people, it's a traumatic and tragic event that just stops them in their tracks, and then they're a little lost for a while. It's the kids who age out of foster care. You know, you're in a foster home, and then you're 18. Guess what? Time to be an adult, and you are. If you're lucky, you have an agency that supports you and helps you to get a place to live, but you need everything. You need furniture, you need dishes, you need sheets and towels, and that's where we help. That's what Home Ahead does. We try to take these surplus items from the community and give them to people so that they can start over and they can make a home. And we've been doing this since 2019. And we've helped over 1,500 households in that time. And it's really gratifying work, and some strange things happen in this work. I remember a donor one day who had a variety of items. She was clearing out the home of a friend who had passed, and she had a rice cooker. Rice cooker is a really specific kitchen gadget. And it's not really kind of basic, mainstream sort of kitchen items that we would typically help provide. But I thought, okay, we'll take the rice cooker. And the very next day, 2 teenagers came in. They were leaving a domestic violence shelter. They were young adults, and they were getting an apartment together. And we looked around, and I asked them what they needed and what kinds of things would help to make their home feel like a home. And the first thing the young man said is, "Do you have a rice cooker?"
Whoa!
Wow!
Hi, David Thurston. I've been working here at Home Ahead for about a month and a half now. Got hooked up with one of the board members who told me they were at open position here, and I've been loving it. It's been a privilege working here with Mary and Eileen, and serving the community here in Boulder County. One of the stories that I have recently was just a couple days ago. Moved a gentleman in. He'd been in the shelter for about a year, he said, in and out, and moved him into his place. He literally just moved in. He said he got there an hour and a half before his furniture arrived, and we got him all set up. He was very, very thankful. Older gentleman. He was using a walker, so he wasn't that super mobile, so it felt good to give him at least a bed to sleep on, a chair to sit in. But then as we were getting ready to leave, he asked me, he's like, what happens if I move? What do I do with all this furniture when I move? And I told him, whatever you want. And he looked a little confused, and he was like, this is mine. I'm like, yeah, this furniture's yours. Like, you can do whatever you want with it. He got a big old smile on. It was, it was pretty cool to see. Another story I have is my first interaction ever with a client. Eileen was setting up a move. It was brand new, I think just a couple days here at Home Ahead, and it was a Spanish-speaking gentleman, only Spanish-speaking, so Eileen was having to use Google Translate, and she'd type it up and then show him what she was saying. And there was a little bit of miscommunication, I think, at first, just with the modem or the means of communication. But once he understood that, yeah, he can pick out whatever he wanted, he can choose the different pieces of furniture he wanted. He got just the biggest smile, or like a little kid in a toy store. And yeah, that was kind of my first experience, and it was really cool to see. Like, we're making an impact, helping people out, and that's kind of my background. Is what I love helping people. Kind of what led me to serve in the military, serving people. Even in high school, I was mowing people's lawns. I helped out with moving a bunch as well when I was in high school. So yeah, it's been a privilege to be here at Home Ahead.